Hi everybody and welcome back. In this lesson I would like to talk to you about the concept of time in music. We need a way to measure the length of both notes and silences when playing music. In normal everyday life, we measure the passage of time with units of measurement like seconds, minutes, hours, and days. But with music, we're going to have to use some different units of measurement. The first one we're going to look at is called the bar or the measure. They both mean the same thing, but from now on, I'm going to refer to it as the bar or a bar. So think of a bar not as a big unit of measurement like a day or an hour, not a small one like a second, but somewhere in the middle like a minute. Now a bar does not last for a minute, but I want to try to relate it to something you guys already know, so it's a little bit easier to understand these concepts. So just as we can take a minute and we can split it into smaller chunks of time called seconds, we can take a bar and split it into smaller chunks of time called beats. So here's the first main difference is in a minute, there are always 60 seconds. However, in a bar, there can be any number of beats. Typically, they'll be between 1 and 12, but by far the most common number of beats in a bar is 4. So that's the most important piece of information we need to know right now is how many beats are in our bar, and that answer is going to be 4. Now, the second main difference is the speed. Seconds always pass by at the same speed, whereas beats of the bar, they can be faster or slower. And this is measured in beats per minute or BPM. For seconds, they pass by at 60 beats per minute or 60 BPM because there are 60 seconds in a minute. But we're going to look at some different speeds for beats. Now this speed or this BPM is called the tempo of the song. The speed of the song is referred to as the tempo, and that's the second important piece of information we need. And for right now, our tempo is going to be 50. So it's a little bit slower than the seconds on a clock. And what that means is every minute you're going to hear that clicking 50 times. So what I'm using is something called a metronome. Traditionally, metronomes used to click as they would swing back and forth. But obviously I don't want to be carrying that around in my pocket, so I've got an app on my phone. There's tons and tons of free ones out there. Just experiment till you find one that you like. For me, it's finding one that the clicking sound is not annoying or abrasive sound. So what we're going to do is I'm going to count the beats of the bar. Remember, there are 4 beats in our bar, and I'm going to count it at 50 beats per minute, which is our tempo. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's important to remember that after 4 comes 1 again. We're just looping that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It gets a little weird in the beginning because you're so used to counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we have to, instead of going to 5, we have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a relatively slow tempo, 50 beats per minute. I'm going to turn it up now to 166 beats per minute. Again, which means every minute you're going to hear that clicking sound 166 times. But regardless of the speed, I'm still going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That does not change because that is how many beats we have in our bar. Okay, so let's just recap real quick. We have 2 important pieces of information. We have how many beats in the bar, which is 4, and our tempo, which is going to be 50. Now, before we play along with the metronome, I have to talk about one incredibly important part of playing music, possibly the most important part, but it's not even part of the song. What it is something called the count in. And you've probably heard this before. Usually the drummer, before a song starts, will count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then everyone will come in together. So this count in will give us those two important pieces of information. It'll give us how many beats in the bar, which is 4, and by the speed that it's counted in, that'll give us the tempo of the song. And you can sabotage a song very easily by giving a bad count in, or a weak count in, or a count in that's too slow, or a count in that's too fast. So just for a second, before you start a song, try to think of a recognizable part of the song, usually the chorus, and try to sing it in your head. Try not to bob your head when you're doing it, but try to sing it in your head to get the speed or the tempo of the song. Incredibly important, because once you start, you're probably not going to slow down. It's going to feel weird for everybody, and you don't want to go for a 3 to 5 minute song feeling uncomfortable at the wrong speed, at the wrong tempo. We want to make sure that when you count in a song, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, strong and even. Okay, so I'm going to give you a count in. We're going to play with the metronome. And when we play, the most typical way to play is on the first beat of the bar, meaning when I say the number 1, we're going to play string number 1 open, also known as the note G. And we're going to let that note ring all the way through as I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4 until I say 1 again, and play again when I say 1. So let's give that a try. So listen for my count in, and then we're going to play the second time I say the number 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to finish. Okay, so a couple really important points. I know that's a simple thing to play, but there's a couple really important things we need to talk about. One thing is, I'm kind of curious how many people did this out there, but a lot of people when they first start, you're going to want to play when I say 4 instead of when I say 1. A lot of people go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just a natural thing, but you want to wait all the way till I say 1 again, so that note rings for the duration of the full 4 beats, right? It has to ring the whole entire way through. The other thing was, how many times did we repeat that? How many times did we play that note? And the answer is 4. And this is an incredibly important concept that will stick with you for as long as you're playing. And that is, things tend to happen in music in groups of 4. So 4, 8, 12, 16, so on and so forth. So when you're practicing, try to practice things in groups of 4, because when you're playing, you don't want to be distracted by counting, trying to figure out how many times I've played this. But in the beginning, you need to do that. So if you're practicing 4 times in a row, what'll happen is over the years, you'll just instinctively know, second nature, that that's happened 4 times or 8 times. You won't have to count anymore, and you can just focus on playing. Okay, so those are incredibly important things. Now, what we're going to do is the same thing, but this time we're going to play along with a backing track with guitar and drums. The difference here is this next one is going to be faster. This one's going to be 80 beats per minute. But we're going to play the exact same thing. We're going to play on beat 1 every time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's still just going to be the note G over and over again. But when we're playing along with this, when I do my count in, I'm probably not going to say the number 1 because I don't know exactly when it's going to happen. I have to hear it, and then I'm going to react and say 2, 3, 4, and then we'll start when I say 1 again. So again, just playing the note G 4 times. Actually, we're going to play it 5 times because we're going to add 1 at the end to finish the song. Okay, I'll try to give you guys a good count in. Here we go. Playing the note G. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and finish. Great. So we played a note that is 4 beats in duration. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is called a whole note. Now, a whole note can mean a bunch of different stuff, but for right now, we're going to think of it like it lasted for the whole bar, the whole 4 beats, the whole note. Again, later on, it's going to mean different things depending on what you're playing, but for right now, a whole note lasts for the whole bar. Okay, now we're going to split it into 2 beats and 2 beats. So these are called half notes because they each last for half of the bar, or 2 beats each. So when you play it, it'll sound like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, because they're 2 beats in duration. But here's the important thing. I'm not going to count the beats of the notes, I'm going to count the beats of the bar. It's very important to do that, to know where you are in the bar, especially when you get to some of these faster rhythms, like when we're counting 1. If you just count 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, you'll have no idea where you are in the bar. So we need to count the beats of the bar. So what that means is when we're playing, we're going to play when I say the number 1, and we're going to play when I say the number 3. And in music, this is commonly referred to as playing on 1 and 3. So we're going to play on 1 and 3, on beat 1 and on beat 3. Same tempo, same note, open G. Here we go, 80 beats per minute. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and finish. Okay, we have whole notes, we have half notes. Now we're going to split the bar into 4 equal parts, into quarters. Now, these are called quarter notes, and these last for 1 beat each, 1 beat in duration, which means every time I say a number, 1, 2, 3, and 4, we're going to play when I say the number. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Quarter notes, 1 beat in duration. Here we go. Same song, same string, same tempo. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and finish. So up to this point, we split the bar into equal parts. 4, which is a part of 1. 2, which is 2 equal parts, and 1 beat each, which is 4 equal parts. Now what we're going to look at is splitting it into unequal parts, 3 beats and 1 beat. Now we'll get into the details of this later, but the 3 beats is called a dotted half note, and the 1 beat is still called a quarter note. So we have a dotted half note and a quarter note, or if you want to think of it as 3 beats and 1 beat. So what that means is we're going to play the first note, we're going to play when I say 1, it's going to last for 3 beats. So 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to play the last beat on 4. So we're going to play on beat 1 and on beat 4. So this is a little bit tricky because as soon as you play the note on beat 4, you have to play again immediately on beat 1. There's a tendency to kind of relax when you get to the end of a section, whether it's, a bar or a bunch of different bars or a chorus or a verse. The tendency is to relax and think, oh, I'm done. That's not the case. Remember, you have to play again on 1, almost immediately after you play on 4. So here we go. We're going to play on beat 1 and on beat 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and finish. Okay, so we have just a few variations of rhythm, and we know 3 notes at this point, but with that small amount of information, you can get so many different variations on all of these different bass lines. You can make creative and interesting bass lines, but the important thing is trying to make sure that they match with the song. So that one we just played, I wouldn't be playing really fast, aggressive notes. I would try to match what's going on in the song. And that's very important as well, to try to listen to what's happening. I know you're thinking, you're counting, you're trying to get the right string, all this kind of other stuff. But once that gets more comfortable, try to listen to what's happening around you so that you can fit in better with the timing of it, with the rhythm, but also you'll enjoy yourself a lot more, okay? So have fun, and I'll see you guys in the next lesson.